Hello, everyone. This is What's the Word, and today the word is on what it means to be made in God's image. This is something that is often misinterpreted by many people who read through the Bible. So the purpose of this video is to explain what it means to be made in the image of God and why this is important in our walk with Christ. But before we cover this, make sure you also check out the other videos we have on this channel. And if you want to see more videos like this, then make sure to click the like and subscribe buttons below the video and share them with others. Now let's go ahead and get started. So when we first learned that we were made in God's image, most people automatically assume that we were made to look exactly like God. I mean, this only makes sense, right? If we were made in God's image, then this should mean that we look like God, which means that God stands upright just like we do, and has hair, and eyes, and a face to go with it. And this is exactly what I was taught when I was in Sunday school, and maybe you were too. But I'm sorry to break it to you that this is not what it means to be made in God's image. There's a very good chance that God does not look like us. In fact, it really wouldn't make much sense for him to have our physical features when you think about it, mainly because God is not physical in nature. This is why it was such a big deal when Jesus Christ was born into this world as a man, because it was completely different from what God truly is, perfection. Let me explain. Our physical bodies are made up in a way that makes up for the other body parts' weaknesses. For example, our eyes help us see what's in front of our bodies, but are unable to see behind us. However, our ears make up for this by allowing us to listen to noises from behind. So our body parts were created in a way to complement the other's weaknesses so that the whole body may stand strong. Because of this, it is impossible for God to have the same features as us, because this would mean that God is lacking in something. In other words, if God had the same body as us, then this would mean that God is not perfect. It would mean that God is made up of imperfections, which simply cannot be true. Our God is perfect and flawless in all things, and is self-sustaining in nature. Now, there are a few instances in the Bible where God shows himself to certain people, but never in his true form. He even said himself that if we were to see his true face, then we wouldn't live to tell the tale. So be careful not to misinterpret these stories. But if the Bible doesn't mean it literally when saying we were made in God's image, then what exactly does it mean? Well, the original Hebrew words for image and likeness in these certain passages actually refer to something that is similar but not identical. So the Bible isn't really referring to physical things here. Instead, the Bible's talking more about the spirit and the attributes of man. So how exactly are we similar to God? Well, we're similar in intellect, morality, spiritual nature, authority over the earth, creativity, and plenty more. Now, make no mistake, this does not mean we are as smart as God or as morally pure, and we definitely don't have the authority that God has either. But what this does mean is that we share these same attributes. Just as God rules over all things, we also rule over the earth. And just as God knows the absolute difference between right and wrong, we too have an understanding of morality. And just as God was creative in formulating the entire universe and all of creation, we are also a creative species, capable of crafting different types of art, literature, and music. And do you know what the craziest thing about all of this is? We are the only species on Earth that shares these attributes with God. This is what the Bible means when it says we were made in God's image. We are the only species on the face of this earth that was created in his likeness. This is what God made clear in the beginning when he created man and woman. God created us in his image, and it's because we were made in his image that we should strive to become more like him. And when we fail to live up to his image, we commit sin. But another one of those things that God has is called forgiveness. And that's another thing that we share with him too. We can forgive others, and we can also forgive ourselves. And most importantly, God can forgive us. He can forgive you of your trespasses, and he can redeem your life from the pit. He can give you hope that you've never experienced before, and he can inspire you in ways that no other person can. And you know what? You can do the same for others too. You can give hope to those who are helpless. You can inspire others to take action and become better people. And you can offer people a type of love that they have never experienced before, just as God can do for you. And how do I know you can do this? Because you were made in God's image. You were created to do great things to glorify his name. And in all things we do, we should remember this: God made you in his likeness, in his love, and in his image.